Beautiful. It looks like we're on the air. And what's going on, man? This is the experienced Optimist with Mgtow Universe. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. After I got this Google Hangout thing going, I'm doing all right, man. I'm gonna get over here to my notes. Did you do
Say that again.
anything crazy today or anything interesting?
I was gonna go to the movies to got a little bit of echo. Okay, it's gone.
No.
So I was gonna go to the movies and watch Star Wars. I'll probably go later on tonight or early tomorrow. But other than that, no, it's been uneventful.
Oh, Star Wars. Actually, man, I watched like a bootleg version, and they're talking about that's not that good. And I don't know, man. It didn't really look that good from what I was watching, but we'll see.
Okay.
You're a big Star Wars fan?
Not really. I mean, I remember watching like the old ones when I was a kid. I think I only watched them like once. But I like the prequels. I like the second and the third one, especially the third one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right, let me jump into some of your videos that you have on your channel, which I really, really, really love. One of them was talking about like how to skip high school or what you didn't like about high school and how you went to college and pretty much graduated early. Is that correct?
Well, I graduated high school early.
Yeah, high school early, yeah.
So when I was in high school, like most teenagers, I hated it. And I was going to school. I just wasn't going to my high school. I was going across the street to what they called back then community colleges. I would just sit up in a library or go to the computer lab just like 10 hours a day. When I did go, I either stayed home, played video games, or most of the time I just went to the college and just learned, self-taught myself programming, graphics design, and stuff like that. So I would stay. So my high school started at 7:30, and we would get out at 2:00. I would stay at the community college computer lab from 7:30 all the way to 10 at night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's what I was interested in. And my high school didn't really have computer classes. Didn't like it. Send them one class for 2 hours, and I just dropped out. And I didn't know about the high school program. It's obviously a better option. You have to pay for your own books. You make your own schedule, whether you want to do day or night classes. You could do both, or you can do one or the other. You could do classes year round. You can even take weekend classes if you want. Just a lot more flexible, and it's self-paced. And the high school I was going to, the guidance counselors, they knew about that, but they weren't going to tell the students. Because if they told the students, most of the kids, they would just drop out. Because at that point, you're asking yourself, okay, do I want to spend an extra 2 to 3 years at this high school for the sake of pep rallies, homecomings, and proms?
Yeah.
And I don't really see many kids doing that. But yeah, it was a better option. I didn't know about that option when I first got there. I just thought, it was GED or high school diploma. But yeah, the high school program is obviously a better choice. And then when I went to college, the CLEP program, the college level examination program, it's the same thing. Instead of paying for, in-state fees, now it's like, I think 105 per credit hour, times that by 3 to 4. So you're talking about $350 to $400 per class. Or you could just take the CLEP exam, which is a fourth of that. It's self-paced, and you won't have to spend 16 weeks. Now, if it does take you 16 weeks, that's fine, but you just move at your own pace, and it's cheaper, and you get the same amount of credits. It's just an easier, maybe not easier, but a much more efficient option, much more flexible.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about high school that I really didn't like was, to me, it seemed like it was a indoctrination station.
Yep.
It seemed like you were just wasting your time where you could, like when I learned about what you did as far as like just taking the classes, studying at your own pace, and then graduating early from high school. If I had the chance to do it all over again, that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's not even it's not even close in terms of value in my eyes.
Mhm.
It's not even close. The only people I could see, like if they had a choice, if they would choose like a 4-year high school, they would pretty much be only going for the social experience. And I've always been an introvert, so I never cared about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm an introvert also. So you would recommend. So if you had, 5 young kids that came to you and said, "Should I do this? Should I go to a community college and try to graduate early?" What would you tell them?
Well, I would first tell them that uh, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I am going to present you with all the options because parents are reluctant to do that themselves, even though it's a much more efficient option. They want their kids to do it the old-fashioned way for whatever reason. But I would present them the options, and I would let them make up their own mind. Of course, I would give them my experience and what my thought process was. But every person, they have their own situation and whatever. But
Well, let me.
yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Well, let me ask you this: how does this fit into your concept of MGTOW?
So when I was talking about the single player experience, when I did that video, I was just doing it off the cuff. I just tying in like gaming and school or education, specifically. And what was the other one? It was gaming, education, and fuck, I'm missing one. 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 Um, how do I not remember this stuff? It's right on
I
the
mean, you
damn
made so many
thumbnail.
videos. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's see. MGTOW gaming and education. Okay. All right. So when I'm talking about the single player experience, so when I grew up, I I'm 33, so I grew up on single player games. When I was a kid, there was no such thing as multiplayer in terms of like playing over the internet and stuff like that. If you were going to play multiplayer, it was with family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a single player kind of a gamer. Don't really care about multiplayer at all. I would much for video games. I would much rather have like bots replace the players, so you don't have to deal
Really?
with personalities. Yeah, because you don't have to deal with personalities. You don't have to deal with trolling. You don't have to deal with 12-year-olds calling you the N word. Every
Yeah.
single chance they get, and you don't have to deal with touchy feely female gamers and white knights and all the other crap. And in terms of education, the single player experience being, doing your own education, being responsible for your own education, paying for your own education, not having to deal with personalities like other students, maybe even bullies or burnt out teachers, all of that stuff. That's a single player experience, in my opinion. And MGTOW, obviously, a single player experience. No girlfriend, no wife. Depends on however you view MGTOW. No kids. Really not being locked down, not being locked into a system like a marriage or some sort of long-term commitment, or having to worry about possibly being taken to court and all of that other stuff. It's just maximum mobility in these three arenas. You have flexibility. You can do what you want, when you want, at your own pace, whenever you want to.
Oh, yeah. So pretty much you're protecting yourself on all levels, essentially.
Yes. You're not depending on the education system to educate you. You're not depending on the traditional framework for your happiness. You're not seeing validation through the eyes of a woman. You're not depending on game publishers to give you the gaming experience, because even today, like if you're not happy with the video games that you're playing, we have access to the same game engines that AAA game studios have access to. You can make your own games if you wanted to. We have
Mhm.
that flexibility. So yeah, it's just basically taking your own interests and your own hobbies or your own life into your own hands and not being at the mercy of anyone else, whether it's a school or the game publishers or the court system or a woman.
Gotcha. So basically, I can tell you're a big fan of EA, right?
I am not. But I'll tell you this. I used to be, though, because EA used to make like some fantastic games. NBA Street. I love NBA Street, especially NBA Street 2. What was some other games? NBA Live, I think. Yeah, I think they made NBA Live. I love NBA Live coming up as a kid.
Well, the only reason why I say that is because we all know the EA Sports. I guess they're kind of like they monopolize everything and they try to cheat people out. They destroy game developers basically.
I understand. Yeah, they do, but I understand why they do it. Also, they're just trying to maximize profit. If the consumer base is willing to pay for microtransactions, why wouldn't they squeeze that fruit and get every single drop of juice out of that fruit? Yeah, it's bad for the consumer base as a whole, but it's great for them, and their profit margins has shown that over the past 10 years.
That is true. That is true. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's segue into, and this is another topic I wanted to talk about. Girls Trip female characters. We all know that movie came out, Girls Trip. It was like 4 girls, right? And they went to, where'd they go to Louisiana or something? And they partied it out.
I think it was for the Essence Festival, yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking about the characters and what you thought about it. So about those characters in that movie.
They were garbage, quite honestly. And when me and BJS was talking, I knew the movie was going to be garbage. I knew it wasn't going to be funny because when we look at black movies that are geared towards black women for the past forever, they're really nothing. And when when I had that live stream, I was basically asking name some shows since 1980 where like women, especially black women, but women in general, where they're just not typical. They're not ball busting. They're not trying to be funny. Women are hilarious to other women. I don't know why, but it just wasn't funny. The stereotypes was typical. The Jada Pinkett Smith's character was the lovable single mother that chose to be a single mother, obviously. And
really?
Yeah,
I didn't see the movie.
Yeah, the only reason why I saw it is because I told people I was going to do a review on it, and I kept my word. It was a waste of $9, but it didn't surprise me at all. Queen Latifah is the writer that can't afford her lifestyle. We haven't heard that character before, of course. I forgot the other 2 characters' name, but there was this ghetto chick. Of course, the ghetto chick that's always violent, that's loud for no reason whatsoever. That's probably the character that most black women can relate to. But Regina Hall's character, she's basically the alpha female of the group. She's the successful one. She has the successful rich husband. He was an ex-NFL player. As you can guess, if this is a black female movie, he eventually cheats on her. The only stereotype they didn't hit on is that he didn't cheat on her with a white woman. I just knew that was coming. It didn't come. It was with another black woman. I'm like, all right, fine. But every other stereotype you could think of, they hit on it.
Well, this is what I don't understand about the movie. The movie did gangbusters in the theaters, right? It made a ton of money. I don't understand how it made that much money.
Really? Wow.
I don't get it because so Black Widow, the lady that plays Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yes.
They came out with a movie where it was her and 3 other friends. They pretty much did the same
thing. Bad Moms, yes. The white girl version of Girls Trip is Bad Moms, yeah. They just came out with a second one, yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't Bad Moms. It wasn't Bad Moms. It was something else.
Oh, okay.
It was they met a stripper. They accidentally killed a stripper guy, and then they found out the stripper guy was. But anyway, it was basically Girls Trip with the all white cast, and that didn't make any money. I figured that would make a ton of money. But I still don't understand why Girls Trip made a ton of money. I mean, what do you think? Why did it make a ton of money?
Do you think that black women can relate to Girls Trip more than white women can relate to movies like Bad Moms?
Bad Moms did okay too, right?
I think. Well, they came out with a second one, so I assume so. But I haven't seen either movie, but I'm guessing it's just 4 women getting pissy drunk and doing stupid shit.
Yeah, that's what it is. I try to watch Bad Mom. I try to watch the first one, I think, and I just couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
Jada
they're
Pinkett
not
Smith
funny.
is in it too. Yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith is in the first one, I think.
Mm.
Anyway, this won't matter. But uh, yeah, I just don't understand. Like, just women acting stupid, going to Louisiana, and then it just made a whole bunch of money. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's how it is. But what do you think about characters in general in the movies today?
What, the female characters?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of blowback. They say that a lot of them are Mary Sue's, that it's a feminist agenda, um, that they're not properly cast, that whole thing.
Well, let me use the example of Wonder Woman, right? So the movie wasn't bad, right? It wasn't great, wasn't good to me, but it was a greatly shot movie. Um, is Wonder Woman a feminist character? I guess you could say. Um, I will say this about Wonder Woman: they didn't go like overboard with the feminist thing. It was like mansplaining. That word is creeping into the media now,
Oh yeah,
and so as far as men putting women to the forefront and kicking ass, that's nothing new. Um, Women want to see that. Men want to see that too, right? I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I get used a feminist character. Xena, warrior princess, feminist character.
yeah.
Um, I mean, guys want to see sexually attractive women fighting, I guess you could say. Um, uh, it's nothing new. I'm really not surprised by it. If matter of fact, if there was a goal like a complete 180 and they had a woman that was very passive, that wasn't loud, that wasn't I don't need no man kind of a character,
Uh-huh.
women would almost I think that women would almost instantly reject that character because they can't relate to it. Relate to that character. And I'm really
Yeah,
thinking about what kind of character I'm thinking about movies and TV shows. Like, who is that character besides maybe Tasha and Insecure? Outside of her, I really can't think of one of any race.
well, my whole
And I
thing.
think,
Okay, so
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, when it
Well,
comes to Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman made a ton of money, I think, because people have been waiting for that for a long time. I didn't understand like why it took so long to bring like a female character like that to the screen. To me, it seemed like it was a guaranteed moneymaker.
um, I think when I was watching Thor, Hella, you got the echo again.
Oh, do I? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about that?
Okay. All right. So Hela's character in Thor, like I think it's hard to write female characters that are interesting that are not like the typical tight-fisted one. Because I don't think women want to see like the tight-fisted hard ass, but they want kind of like a balance. So like Hela's character, she's a villain, but she's not very interesting because she wants to take over the world, but why? She's a woman with a mission, but what's the mission and why is she doing that? Like we don't have any backstory. And
Yeah,
as far
exactly. I
as
think when it came to Hella or whatever and Valkyrie, it just seemed like I could see the feminist agenda there. I kind of saw it because like the Valkyrie character, she was strong. She could beat up Thor. It seemed like she was a little overpowered. And then Hela, like you said, there was no explanation as to why she wanted to take over the world. You know, all they had to say was she needed more souls or something like that, and then that would have been a good explanation.
yeah, but why does she need more souls? Like the reason why I'm saying that, like Magneto and Apocalypse,
Uh-huh.
they're villains, but they have a vision.
Okay,
Like
gotcha.
Magneto, he was well. Stan Lee said this himself. Professor X and Magneto was modeled after Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, right? So Magneto is the kind of person like, okay, I know humans are petty, they're pathetic, they're weaker than mutants, but if you don't mess with me, I'm not gonna fuck you up. The moment you mess with me, and I know it's gonna happen eventually, I'm going to kill you. Professor X says, okay, yes, humans are petty. They are pathetic. They fight over nothing, but we can help them. And so these are these are men that have visions of what they want to accomplish. Apocalypse, the same thing. He is a mutant supremacist, right? Screw the humans, and screw even the weakest mutants. The strongest mutants will reign the earth. Why can't we have that for a female character, good or bad? Just a female character with a vision. I would love that.
I see that. I see. You know what I would like to see? That's a good point. You know what I like to see? The honor guard, Darkseid's honor guard. Those what? They're 4 women, right? That fight for him.
I'm not familiar with that story, but go ahead.
Anyway, so it's like 4 evil chicks, right? There's a big one. There's one there's a couple of them are sexy or whatever, and then there's big Barter or something like that. She left the honor guard. But anyway, I would like to see a movie about them. There are 4 strong female characters. They're bad. Of course, they're evil. But you kind of understand like where they're coming from. Darkseid raised them to be evil.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to take over the world. And they can all have their individual ideas of why they each want to rule humanity and the universe, basically.
Right. I mean, I don't really care if a character is male or female. Just give them a vision.
Yeah, just give them something. Something you can
believe. Just don't say I want to reign over humans because I want to reign over humans. That doesn't make any sense to me.
So what do you?
I think for women characters, good or bad, I don't even Wonder Woman. She wants to save humans, but why? Like what? Why? What is you want to save it because you're born from Zeus? But why do you want to save humans from themselves when you have said multiple times in both Wonder Woman and Justice League that humans are, well, she doesn't say humans, she says men, where they're pretty much petty. Like why? What is your vision? Don't just give me I want to save humans, I want to get cats out of a tree because I want to get cats out of a tree. Give me a vision. That's just me though.
Okay, so if there's a character right now that you would pick that would have a vision, that's a female character that could probably appeal to the masses, who would that be? Supergirl excluded.
No, Supergirl is another one of those characters. I want to save humans, but I want to save humans. She doesn't have a vision outside of that. Honestly, I really can't think of one. Well, I really can't think of
one. Y'all trying to
Gamora is just tagging along with Star-Lord and Rocket. She's just tagging along. I really cannot think of one.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Do you think Star Wars is a Mary Sue?
What do you mean by Mary Sue?
A Mary Sue is a female protagonist that pretty much can do no wrong. She always saves the day. She trains trains once an hour or one time, and then she can do whatever she's doing. So she's doing computer programming. She spends 15 minutes doing computer programming, and then she can hack everything, every system. She can never lose. She always saves the heroes. She defeats all the enemies, and she's always heralded as the best ever.
Maybe I have to watch that movie again because I only saw some of it, and that was a year ago. But what I remember is that I don't think she had any formal training, and she was competing against Seth Lord. That's ridiculous. Just off the bat. By that definition, yeah, I would say that she's a Mary Sue. Now, I don't know what to expect out of this movie, but I just give me an interesting character, male or female. Give me a woman, give me a female supervillain that has a purpose.
Okay.
I guarantee you, people will gravitate toward that character because people like Broly from Dragon Ball Z doesn't really talk much. He has a purpose. His purpose is very thin. He wants to kill Goku because he made him cry as a baby, and that's kind of pathetic. But he has a purpose. He has, I wouldn't say, well, he doesn't really have much of a vision, so I take that back. Goku and Vegeta has a vision. Goku Black has a vision. But yeah, just give me a female character, good or bad, just has a vision. Buffy the Vampire Slayer didn't have a vision. She was killing vampires for the sake of killing vampires.
Yeah, that's true.
Just give me a vision.
Well, let me ask you this. Now let's talk about MGTOW in the movies.
Okay.
Do you think that there's an agenda in Hollywood to emasculate men through what you see in movies today?
Yeah. It certainly was. It's obvious in TV.
Oh yeah, TV.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the same. Men are pushing women to the forefront, and women are not shining. Like if you're going to push women to the forefront for the sake of women and girls, make them interesting. And you don't have to do the whole feminist. You don't have to trash men to make great female characters, in my opinion. You don't have to do that. Can I really think of an example of that off the top of my head? No. I think I would say probably Wonder Woman is probably the closest example, and that's not saying much because she had a moments at Justice League when she was, you know, the whole I'm working with children line and all the other stuff. But as far as emasculated men, yeah, of course. Because if men were in the forefront, where do women stand? Because not beside them. That's not happening. I think it's sad that women have to trash men to flourish. That's what I'm seeing out of the media. And I think that's sad. I don't think that's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary either. So I always wondered, what's the point? Are they doing this on purpose? Or are they just trying to make more money, and that's the only way they feel that they can make more money, by trashing men and then promoting women?
Well, as far as people going to the movie theaters, it's mostly women, and then the guys that go, they usually go there with the girlfriends. The girlfriends are dragging them there. So women, to a degree, want to see that. So it's the industry making money off of their primary demographic. It's women. Women are going to go to the movie theaters where men will most likely torrent or bootleg the movie, because most women, in my opinion, from what I've seen, just don't have the technical know-how of what a torrent even is. Yeah, it's the industry catering to their largest demographic. Just like when you see on TV these talk shows, daytime television, women love watching this shit. Reality TV shows, women love watching it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Women love seeing men getting degraded, like men being called stupid, an idiot. Probably everyone loves Raymond. It's probably the most egregious example that you could think of.
That was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. But you saw how successful it was and how long it ran.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves Raymond. I had to turn that show off. I couldn't watch it. It was just so bad. Like, she treated him sometimes like he wasn't even human, basically.
Right. As far as like even and I talked about this in the podcast with female characters, like even Claire Huxtable. Everyone likes to say the Cosbys were like the golden, the holy grail of black sitcoms. Well, Claire Huxtable was also a ball buster. She only she just did it with a smile. Like every single episode, well, not every single, but like a lot of times she put like a little quip to Cliff, like something little slick. Like it may not have been a big deal in the 80s, but like today we see it like, oh, you think you slick. And she cooked, she cleaned, she made sandwiches, sure, absolutely. But she was also Claire Huxtable is by no means passive. Not especially as a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it seemed like, all right, that show back in the day, it seemed like if they can make a show like that, why can't they make? Why do they need to make a Everyone Loves Raymond? Why can't they make another Cosby Show, a modern day Cosby Show?
So if we're gonna write a show in 2017 like the Cosby Show, do you think black people will watch it?
Do I think black people would watch it?
Yeah.
I think so. Why not?
Well, if you're
You
gonna
don't
put
think
it,
so?
no, absolutely not,
Okay.
because reality TV is what
Yeah.
reigns. Was what rules today. As far as I think
Well,
kids today would see a show like that and think that it's corny.
Well, see, the thing is, I think reality shows, the only reason why they make those is they know that drama is first, it's cheap to make, and then all that to draw an audience, they just have to make it more drama filled. And to me, I
And
don't
who's
like it.
watching
Of
those
course,
shows?
young people. To me, because I'm old, so.
And who
I
likes
think
drama?
women mostly.
There you go.
But then again, there's a lot of guys that watch those shows now too.
Yeah. I'll admit I have my it's
Oh
I didn't watch I didn't watch like the female shit, but like when Flavor of Love first came out, it was brand new. It was brand I had never seen anything like it. And of course I only watched because of the women. I didn't really care about their character. I didn't care about Flavor of Love's character. I'm like, why is there 30 women or however many it was pandering over to this old guy that looks like a prune? Like, why? And of course, I just watched for eye candy, but it was entertaining. It's cheap entertainment, as you said. But today is just, yeah.
You know the funny thing? Well, I think they would watch it, but let me go into a different topic here. So, when the reality shows came out, and they started with like Bad Girls Club and Real Housewives or whatever, and Love and Hip Hop and all these other shows, I saw a marked difference in how women started acting. Did you see that difference as well?
Between what shows? The reality shows?
Yeah, when the reality show like Bad Girls Club started coming on, Teen Mom and all these shows, it seemed like women's attitudes changed almost overnight. They started acting more, from my opinion, started acting more ratchet. They became more, they were more mean. They ball busted a lot more. To me.
Well, when Flavor of Love first came out, I think it was 2005 ish, somewhere around there. Those women was ratchet. I mean, they're no different than the women today, in my opinion. I do think that it's a little bit more.
Well, it seemed like it wasn't as
right.
widespread.
Right.
And then when those shows came out, then it seemed like every girl was just like, "Oh, I can act like that and get away with it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do."
Well, again, I bring you back to the Claire Huxtables, the Vivian Banks, the Ginas, especially Martin. Gina, every single episode. Oh my God, she was annoying. If Martin could keep his pimp hand strong, he would, because she was that annoying. Forgetting about his dynamic with Pam and them cracking on each other every single episode. It's just they're just ball busters. Like, it's always been there. Even in Friends, they were ball. What was the name? Monica? Ball buster.
The chef. Yeah, Monica was a chef, right? Yeah, Rachel was.
I think she was a caterer or a chef or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Monica was a chef. That's right.
But yeah, it's just.
Yeah, she was a ball buster. Now I think about it, I think you're right.
I'm just like, why is that a character that women want to be, a ball buster?
You know what? That's funny. And I was on Roosh V. Say what you want about Roosh V. I was on his site, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has this article. I can't remember the title of it. It was called like "Water Seeks Its Own Level" or something like that. But in this article, he explains like within every woman, whether she's super nice or whatever, there's a bitch just waiting to get out. And if the circumstances are right, she will become the biggest bitch in the world. Of course, he doesn't say that in the article, but I'm paraphrasing here. And I've come to find that that's true. So when these shows come out and they say, "Oh yeah, you can be mean and you can just yell at people and you can act as ratchet as you want to act," and there's no one's going to say anything about it, I feel that the women think that it's okay.
Maybe that's just women who they.
I mean, that's who they are. I think that's who a lot of women are deep down.
Yeah, that's just that's just how I see it. It's just, I don't know. If women that are passive, they're just really biting their tongue, and the women that are, getting pissy drunk and doing stupid shit and ripping and running around and getting all that stupid shit, that's who they really are, in my opinion.
Well, see, now this goes into the most important question I want to ask you, because I was racking my brain when I listened to your video about this male disposability.
Mm-hmm.
I was racking my brain. You said, I don't want to talk about anything else until we men come together and figure out how to deal with male disposability. So I said, you know what, Mgtow Universe, I'm going to think about this a couple days. I'm going to come out with a solution. I was thinking, and I was thinking, man, I can't come up with a solution, man. It's what is the solution to male disposability? I mean, I
haven't come up with one myself. The success of a society, in my opinion, it's built on the blood, sweat, and tears of men. Men have to be disposable for a society to maintain it, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not an economist or in a social political crap, but just an observation. If men are not disposable, it's only a matter of time before your society fails. Because women are not going to hold it up.
Yeah, they're not going to hold it up. No.
They can't. So that's when I say, like, all this, the laws and the child support, all this stuff is hacking at branches. But even if you could go back to, say, 2,000 years where women are the literal property of their husband, like, you still have to be disposable in that model. Where, and in my opinion, there's nothing a woman could do to even match that. Because if men are not willing to be disposable, there will be another group of men that will be violent to keep them in line. They even do that to today. You're not a real man. Stop being a coward. Don't be a bitch ass nigga. All this other stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's why I say the root is the common denominator across any culture, in my opinion. Again, is male disposability. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about foreign countries. I don't want to hear about wigs and weaves and single moms and badass kids. Male disposability. I want to hear the solution.
Well, here's the thing with male disposability. It seems to me that male disposability now is working against society. It seems, from my point of view, men have to be more collaborative now. If men don't become more collaborative and work with each other, and I'm talking about working with each other over racial lines and socioeconomic lines as well, I think our culture is doomed. From my point of view.
But you're not going to get men to work together, though. That's the thing. Because men are too busy competing with each other. I mean, yeah, men will come together, like, when it comes to war and, running a business. But in terms of, working together for the sake of, maleness, I really don't see that happening. Honestly, I don't.
To be honest, I don't see it really happening either. But if we don't do it, to me, I think it's going to be the demise of society, because men's ego they'll just keep on competing against each other until there's nothing left. If it means destroying the world so that I can have access to all the women and power, then I think men will do it. And then what society doing?
There are some men that will take that step. It's like, okay, fuck all these other men. I'm going to kill them all so I can have all these women.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't make any sense, because ultimately society is doomed if you do that. So then you would really have to take a long, hard look at male disposability and say, okay, now we're going to have to collaborate and make something happen. Maybe we need to move to Mars or something like that. But I mean, we've entered a space where it's hurting us instead of helping us.
Yeah, I think men will come together to find. Well, this yes means yes, or not yes means yes, but hashtag Me Too thing that's going around. I think men will come together for that to find a solution, because it is every single day I'm reading about someone else being let go, being fired, thrown under the bus. What was the latest? B just came out with a video. Tavis Smiley.
Oh, yeah, Tavis Smiley. Wow, right?
Yeah.
The Super Size Me guy.
Him too, huh?
Yeah, him too. You know what's funny? I want to talk about game. We're talking about this Me Too thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this whole, man, your game has to be tight. You have to be masculine. You have to have money. You have to have this and that, right? Power. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we all know who Russell Simmons is, right?
Yep.
Now, you heard about the Me Too thing with him, right?
I have.
So I remember Russell Simmons. I used to read all his books and watch all his interviews. And he was on an interview, or one of his books, he was saying that my game is so tight, I got with all these models and they love me and this and that. And then now come out, 30 years later or whatever, and this girl's accusing him of sexual misconduct. So this is to all those guys who think that their game is so tight that no girl will ever come back and tell them, or try to accuse them of rape, or it doesn't matter who you are, how powerful you are, this can happen to you.
Men keep making the mistake of thinking that confidence will get them out of trouble, will keep them out of trouble.
Absolutely.
And it just doesn't work like that. I mean, you could have all the money in the world, have all the power, be as confident or have swag or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's you versus her feelings. And she's almost always, can't say always, is going to choose her feelings. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I said before, last time we talked, it's gotten to the point to where if you're a man of means at all, and if you're behind a closed door with a woman, you're exposing yourself to risk for the rest of your life, because she can come back. She can come back 30, 40, 50 years down the road and says she did something, and she could pinpoint you that in that location. I was in his room. I was in this closed off office or whatever. And in those 10 minutes, he did something inappropriate. Now, if you are someone that has been building their brand up for half a century, it's gone overnight over a lie. That's how volatile it is to be a man in 2017.
But you see, you don't know the answer to this. You want me to tell you the answer? This is the answer. What you want to do is you want to get a nice car, get some nice clothes. You want to sell these bitches a dream. You want to fuck them and toss them on the side of the road. That is how you get around that. Mgtow Universe.
And 15 years ago, I would have completely agreed with that. It's a stage. It's when you go from being, I guess, a square to being a PUA. Then that gets old. Eventually, you come across MRA, and then you figure out, okay, well, people don't give a shit about men. And then Mgtow. And it's just so many guys have just taken that path, like myself, step by step by step. It's like, okay, well, let's figure out how to game the system. Women are this way. What can I do to maximize that expectation? Well, I can have a fancy car. I can rent or lease or whatever, and I could dress nice. That doesn't cost much. And of course, women are paying attention to all that. So yes, if your goal is to get laid, if you want to do pump and dump, as I said before, first and foremost, get the hell out of first world country, go to another country. But if you are trying to if you want to maximize your expectation, yeah, that'll work. It'll work, but that does not save you from the risk at all.
Wait a minute, Mgtow Universe. Come on here. Are you trying to tell me that if I get myself a good job, right? I get a nice car, I dress really nice, I spit good game, I'm confident, that it's not going to stop her from lying It's not gonna stop a woman from lying on me. Come on, Mgtow Universe, tell me that ain't true.
I mean, if a guy is asking that question, he's not really thinking about his own thought process, or he's been living on the rock his entire life. Like even if you ask these POAs, they have to admit that yeah, you're still exposed to risk, but you're reducing that risk by having game. That's the best that they can do.
Are you trying to tell me that women lie, Mgtow Universe?
Of course.
You're trying to tell me that sometimes they're not honest? No way. I refuse to believe that, sir.
But only who would say that? They're like maybe a 13-year-old, like that's wet behind the ears. I don't know anything. But guys that's been in this world long enough, they know what the fuck it is. They just go about their way of solving that solution. Itmores and PUAs, I won't say they're the same, but their path to that solution is similar. You know, having game or being confident or whatever, that may I can't even say it'll save you from child support because I know a lot of alpha males that won't take any shit from anybody, male or female, that are on papers right now. That are really.
It's a matter.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I was a woman, I'm sorry for cutting you off there. Sorry, but I would. Why? Because I know that the alpha male ultimately cave into what he needs to do. Like there was this one guy that I know, he was an alpha male, whatever. This friend keyed in on him because she knew that he was responsible and would take care of the kid. She took him to, I can't remember, I think Las Vegas or something like that, got pregnant, had a kid and made his life a living hell. Fork out hundreds of thousands of dollars because, you know, he was thinking that he was probably too good looking and too cool and too confident that a woman like that would do anything to him. But women, there's a lot of women that prey on men, and men don't really understand this.
Prey is a strong word.
Especially alpha men, because they don't believe that they're weak enough to be duped.
Right. That's what I don't know. Prey is a strong word because men still have the choice and they know they have a choice. I mean, it's not like they're forced to.
Oh no. I'm not saying. I'm saying like a woman will see a guy like this guy. He's good looking, all that stuff. She knows that his ego will not allow him to see that she's going to get pregnant. You know what I mean? So she's
right.
Like, okay, all right, I got this guy. You know, it's simple. And the guy's thinking that, oh well, my charm is so good. That's what she's after. I'm so good looking. I'm so cool. I'm so alpha. You know, he's not even thinking that she's just trying to get pregnant. You know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, men do it to themselves every single time. That's why I say women are a problem. Men are the problem.
The problem. I mean, yes, I would.
If men don't think with their ego, this whole child support thing and this being tricked and all this other stuff, all that's down the toilet. Because men are not afraid of women. Men are afraid of other men with guns. Pookie and Ray Ray, that is really about that life. The cops, of course, the judge. Mm-hmm. That's who men are afraid of. They're not afraid of the little old woman that's squawking and yelling, screaming, and throwing shit. Absolutely. Men do it to themselves time and time again, over and over and over.
See, and this is something I want to talk to you about, you know, bringing it back to male disposability in relation to this topic. Now, what I've been seeing in, let's say, like the restaurant industry, nightclub industry, I see a lot of men being replaced with women who may not be as skilled, but they look good. But the people replacing these men with women are men, you know, people in hiring positions, hiring managers, the VPs of these restaurants and stuff like that, nightclub management companies. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at that, and when it comes to male disposability, it's basically, okay, I want to make money. I can get rid of all these men now. Sure, they're more skilled, but I want to have a workforce which is mostly women with, you know, double D's. They look good. I think I can control them better, and I could care less about the men that I'm firing. So I want to ask you, what do you think about that? Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think that's a bad thing?
Well, there are the diversity hires. So yeah, companies have to. Well, it depends. I guess it depends on states or whatever. Maybe it's federal. I don't know. But yeah, especially with this Me Too thing, women are going to be taking those spots. Are women capable of doing it? Well, it depends. I'm the kind of person I give everyone a chance. I'm not just going to reject them just off their gender. But I have noticed that any place that is dominated by women tends to go to shit on average.
Well,
go ahead.
No, the reason why I say that, yeah, I hear what you're saying. The reason why I said I was in Miami, right? And I think I said it on one of my videos. I was in Miami, and I came to this club, and there was this guy there. He was in the Army. I was in the Air Force, so we started hitting it off. And he was talking about, this is right about the start where I noticed how like women were getting hired over men in the nightclub industry. So there were some bartenders down there, and he was just like, look at that girl down there, this beautiful, beautiful girl. You know, she had this big, you know, breasts and everything, and she looked really nice. And he was like, you know what? He hired that girl. It's like, she doesn't know how to mix any drinks. He hired her because she looks good. And I was like, really? So I don't know if you remember that movie Cocktail back in the day, right? Remember it was, you know.
Oh God, I haven't seen that movie. It's been a while.
That's, you know, that's how it used to be back in the day, right? Tom Cruise and the other guy, they're flipping drinks, right? Two men, you know, throwing. And that's pretty much how it was. But now when you walk into nightclubs, it's more like women and, you know, they're mixing drinks and they look cute, but the drinks are horrible.
Well, who would you rather see behind? I know that you want a good drink, but who would you rather? Well, who do you think would rather see behind that behind the bar? Like the movie Coyote Ugly, it was obvious that it was about women and them dancing and the shenanigans and all the other stuff. Yeah, they could make drinks too, but it was really about the sex appeal. The sex appeal is what, and I assume, is what bringing in the dollars. Would it bring in? I don't know. Is it more? I guess the question you have to ask yourself: is it more profitable to hire a woman that has not as much skill as a man that has more skill, and she's a lot more attractive in that position? Who's going to bring in more money in the long run? And I think that is the sexually attractive woman that has a cleavage out, that is going to flirt. She's going to get more tips, most certainly. Women want to see beautiful women. Men definitely want to see beautiful women. So I think maybe in the long run that is more profitable, even if the drinks are shit. If you're chatting it up with a woman and you think you have a chance, you don't give a shit about. You really don't give a shit about that drink. Unless it's like awful and you end up spitting it out. That's a different story. But sexy women there's money in how do they say it? Sex appeals, sex sales or something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sex sales.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like back to what we were talking about before, men are doing it to themselves. But when will the time come where men will take a look around and say, look, we gotta stop doing that. She looks good and everything. But is it really worth it to where, you know, men are being displaced and they're out on the street basically, and you know, you don't have those opportunities that you used to have.
You've heard about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 video game loot boxing mishap with EA, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what it was all about. What happened?
Okay, so EA's, and I am making a point. I'm making a point with what you just said. So EA, their new game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, is basically loot boxes. You have to pay a lot of money. It's basically gambling for items that makes you better in the game, right? And their game is based around that. So you have to have quite a bit of money to get what you want out of the game. So EA has been doing this for years, right? It's profitable. They make a lot of money. It's great for shareholders, terrible for the gamers. EA wanted to test, and I think every game publisher does this at some point when they get big enough. They wanted to test how far they could push consumers before consumers says, okay, that's enough. And consumers, when they came out with this game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, 2017 version, not the 2005 version, consumer says, no, that's enough. We're not doing this. And now you're seeing people are talking about legislation with loot boxes being gambling and all the other stuff. So for the first time, in my opinion, in history, consumers, a large base, the Star Wars gamer base says, no, you're not crossing this line. And I think when men, the same thing with men, where society, they have that line, it keeps getting pushed, right? You had no means no, okay? Then you had yes means yes. Then you had mansplaining. Then you had manspreading. Now you have Me Too, hashtag Me Too, right? That line keeps getting pushed because men are not going to do it. Men as a whole are not going to do anything. So when men as a whole, maybe it's, I don't know, women are ordering men to get killed if they don't do what they say. Maybe that'll be the breaking point. Because when it comes to pussy, men will, it's really, they are willing to do anything. So everyone has a line, whether you're a consumer, whether you're a man, a woman, whatever. There's a line in your mind. Even if you haven't even consciously thought about it, there's a line that says, if you cross this line, I'm not having it. Now, what that line is different for different people. Of course, I've already crossed, society's already crossed that line for me. Other men, they may not have gotten there. Maybe it's further. Maybe they have to fail in marriages 5 and 6 times, like a Larry King or someone, before they say, okay, fuck this. I'm done. There's always a line. What that line is for men as a whole in a society, man, when it comes to women, man, men just, it's hard. It's hard. That line, it's probably, I want to say a step before death, but there are a lot of guys that are willing to die for women also, and they'll do it with a smile on their face. I really don't know where that line is. I don't know. I really don't know.
That's the answer to the question, I guess. The male disposability, once men reach that line, is when they'll be able to do something about it.
I think men. I was just not to cut you off, but me and B just had this conversation about a few weeks ago about male disposability, and it was me, him, and 8 other men on that panel, and we was talking about it. Okay, what is your solution for male disposability? And everybody, B just is Mgtow, so he already knows there's no answer. So, but every other guy that wasn't a Mgtow, they're like, male disposability is, it's unfair, but that's just how things are because that's how things have always been. And I think most men have come to the conclusion that clearly it's unfair, but it is what it is. So fuck it.
I never subscribed to that. I always thought that was dumb. Just because someone, I mean, I obviously you think so too, but just because something is one way doesn't mean that you can't change it in the future. I never understood why men especially now, given the circumstances of the culture that we're living in, just give up and say that. I never understood that.
Because it's easy. It's like coming up with a solution for male disposability. Like no one has really done that before. So you have to ask yourself, okay, if I don't want to be disposable, I could do the whole Mgtow thing. But if I'm one of these people that care about the future of society, what is the solution to that? And it's just like, they look back at history. History is predicated on male disposability. So I guess this is how things have always been done. I think most men just give up and just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But yeah, like I said, that line that women keep pushing, I really want to say, maybe I want to agree with you and say, yes, it's coming. But I have seen men literally kill themselves over a woman just to impress her. So I want to say right before death, but there are guys, like I said, they will kill themselves. Not kill them. Well, maybe they even will kill themselves, but they most certainly will sacrifice themselves for the sake of a woman. So I don't know. Maybe that line is infinite. Maybe there is no line when it comes to women with men, or most men they just say, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this and whatever. Maybe there really is no line. Maybe most men are. Maybe men as a whole are just doomed. They just fuck themselves. They just can't help themselves. They want to reproduce and they want to fuck that bad. They just say fuck it.
You know what? You might you might be right, because I remember before I found MGTOW back in the day, I used to have like dreams and of like me saving a village, right? So I save a village and I'm dying, or I ran off an army or something like that, and then women and kids are coming in. Oh, experienced Optimist, thanks for saving our lives. And my gasping breath, I'm like, no problem. I was, I was happy to do so, dying a hero, that type of thing. And I die, and everyone they have like a statue in my honor, that type of stuff. So
right,
I definitely understand that. I mean, there's a lot of guys who dream like that too. So
there's a lot of guys that see honor or glory. There was so many words that they use in the BGS Hangout. Honor, glory, and I get it, because I used to be one of those guys as well. I'm not going to pretend like I wasn't. It's just when you teach men from the time that they're little boys that being disposable, there's honor in it, there's glory, is what it is to be a real man. Again, I don't know if that line exists for most men. I do think that line is infinite. I think if in a fictional universe where if men are forced to walk around on all fours and a chain around their neck, I don't know if that's the line. I really don't know. I really don't. If men are willing to be disposable willingly and with a smile on their face, where's the line? Because it's only death, right? It can't get much worse than death. That line is infinite. I don't know. I really don't know. Because obviously, violence, men slapping women, that's not the line. Women setting men up, false rape accusations, false domestic violence claims, child support, divorce, alimony, palimony, common law marriage. This is not the line. Guys are still fighting for that. How much worse? Manspreading is not the line. Yes means yes, no means no. That's not the line. Title IX, that's not the line. Like, holy shit, where's the line? How much worse can it get outside before death? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
See, it's funny you say that, because even if we go back to the patriarchal society in which supposedly men had control over women, it was still bad for them then, because the alpha guys that had like all the women around them who controlled their state or whatever, they were going out and murdering guys and killing more men just to have access to more power in women. It didn't even matter back then.
Right. Here's the question for you. Here's the question. If men didn't want to fuck more women and build bigger families, would America be America?
Man, that's a good question.
Because we know why men they strive for power and resources and stuff, of course, to oppress women and control over men. I mean, it's obvious. But if let's say if Bill Gates, Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs, Paul Allen, Mark Zuckerberg, these guys at MGTOW, they don't care about any of that stuff. They just want to live the minimalist lifestyle. What does the world look like?
I was thinking about that, and you know what? To me, it seems like humans have overcomplicated everything. To me, it seems like, what do you really need to be happy in life? You need a house. You need decent medical care. You need probably, a community, family. Just the basics, pretty much. That's it. to be happy, you really don't need a lot of stuff.
The
If
problem
someone were to
is
tell,
the problem
yeah,
is the answer to that question varies. Is if you ask a million people that question, you'll get a million different answers.
true. I mean, I'm just, yeah, you're right. But just to me,
Right.
so it seems like, and before I was MGTOW, I might have said something different, but without, chasing women's validation and doing all the other stuff, I can go out. It's not like I'm going to be lazy. I'm still going to do things. I still like robotics. I still like jujitsu. I still like all these other things. So I would contribute to society, no problem. But I think a lot of guys think that in order for society to be built up, they need to chase women. They have to do everything with the caveat that women will like me if I do these things. And I don't think that, I think if men divorced themselves from that idea, that society would still be all right.
But would we have the mega corporations that we have today? Like if like say
I don't
if
think,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead. Well, I just don't think we need them. I just think but see, that's if everyone thought like me. If everyone thought like me, had more of a minimalist mindset, and this is coming from, like, my parents aren't from here. If you go to where my parents are from, overseas, it's more of it's less materialistic. So if you have more of a minimalist lifestyle, you can still be happy and contribute to society. You don't need to have like iPhones or big corporations, all this Jordans and all that nonsense. You really don't need it.
What society is very good at is that, and again, this is anecdotal from what I've seen since I was a little boy, is that society is very good at telling you what you should be happy with.
Yeah, exactly.
So even kid shows like, well, if you have confidence and if you have money, then you could get the prettiest girl in school. We're talking about, I'm specifically talking about like a movie like 16 Candles. It's indirect indoctrination because you don't have to watch the movie, obviously. And of course, you really get hit hard when you're a teenager. In your own life, the kids who have Jordans, the kids that have the freshest clothes, girls smile at them more, or they have better chance with girls, or they have more girls, or whatever. So now you get this idea of like, okay, well, I have to, if I want to get those girls, the prettiest girls, then I have to get what the guy is getting, what the guy has to get those girls. And this is where the whole money mindset, whether you work two jobs, two legitimate jobs, or you go on the street and sell crack or weed, or you go robbing people. It's a very wicked system, but it works because like there are some guys that's like, okay, well, I may not get the girl I want in high school, but I'm going to get the girl I want after college. So I'm going to go to this school. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to get a high paying job. I'm going to get the woman of my dreams that we're going to live happily ever after. Right. And he built a business, maybe multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar business. And it works, of course, outside of divorce and all the other stuff. But in terms of employing people and creating jobs, it works. Now, if you're a minimalist and it's like, okay, well, I want to contribute to society, but I have no interest in creating like a Fortune 500 company. Like, yeah, that'll work. But for society, it doesn't really work.
Well,
it works, but it's not like
well, the thing is, it works for me like a minimalist. All right, so I'm not a guy doing that, right? I'll still probably dabble in robotics. You never know what's going to happen from me doing that. However, there's a guy. Let's say he goes to college, that same guy, right? But he divorces himself from seeking the attention of women, and he just starts the company. He'll still start the company and hire a lot of people, but he's just doing it now for himself rather than doing it for the woman.
Well, you remember when we was talking about vision in the beginning? Because now he had a vision. Now he has to create another one. His vision, he had a vision of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a company. I'm going to get, maybe his wife and children, his family was his vision. Now it has to be something else. He has to create his own vision. Maybe that is the case. I don't know. But I do know that the guys that created the computer industry in the 80s, early to mid 80s, they all have families. Like none of those guys are single. So I don't know if yeah, I guess it's possible, but if your vision is like I'm thinking like the greatest thinkers in our history, they wasn't really businessmen. They were scientists. So it's like they wasn't doing it for profit. So I guess you could do it. You know, I want to make the world a better place, and that could be your vision. But do you want to? Do you want to take on the? Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off. But even if you're just doing it for profit, there's a lot of guys who do things right for profit because they think, well, now I'll have all this money, and then I'll get all these girls, I'll get all this power, and they just crash and burn. You know, they never make it. They're blinded. They're blinded by their ego. I mean, there's so many guys. They're like, okay, I'm you know, DoorDash, the company, right? Or
I have not heard of them though.
Anyway, so you order through DoorDash, they pick up your food, deliver to you, whatever. But there's a guy's like, I could probably bang 10 models if I do another one. You know what? I'm gonna call it Door Rush. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna invest millions of dollars into it. And then once it succeeds, I'm gonna have all these women, and then it fails. And then he starts another company and it fails. He starts another company, it fails. But if he just decided to start a company, chicks, but based on actually providing a real service for people, maybe he would succeed.
Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of there's been great ideas in history that they just didn't work out for whatever reason.
Timing, whatever.
Yeah, it could just be something as simple as timing. But like I said, like even that guy going through that process, he has a vision and maybe he's failing. But like if he continues at it, the law of large numbers or whatever, maybe he will be successful. He's increasing his chances of being quote unquote successful. And that's good for the society. Of course, I don't really care about, you know, making society a better or worse place. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
I hear you.
I just know that, like I said, it's a vicious system, but in terms of making money move and creating jobs, and creating goods and services, it works. Like maybe the whole fairy tale, selling the fairy tale to men, so they'll feel good about being disposable. Maybe that's part of the plan. Me putting on my conspiracy theorist hat, whether it's the military, because of course, if you want men to die for your country, you have to make them feel good about it, right? So you give them this narrative about, you know, God and country or whatever it is that they tell them, and they feel good about it. You know, they feel good about sacrificing their life if need be and stuff like that. It's I don't want to say it's evil, but it's vicious.
It's evil,
but it works.
It's true. I mean, well, man.
If men decide to stop being disposable, that's why I say if men decided to stop being disposable, all of that shit goes down.
Right out the window. Yeah. Well, I think it works until it doesn't. I think right now we're seeing that it's starting to not work. That's from my point of view. I think men can only be so disposable and men can only be so greedy. Once men get to that point to where, you know what? Why do I need all these other men? I'm just going to kill them. And then I'll just have all the rewards for myself, even though that will screw up society. What's going to happen then? Well, let me ask you this. What do you think the world would look like without male disposability?
Well, men will always want to fucking reproduce, so you have to have a alternative solution for that. And
okay, all right. So what if they had like the super lifelike sex bots?
Like you ever seen the show Humans?
Oh no, I've never seen it. You know.
So Humans is a TV show. It's basically they're like bots, but they're kind of like lifelike. You really can't tell them the difference except for the eye color. They're called synths. So if there was a world, and I think and I hope that world will be coming in less than 20 years, but in the world where synthetics, female synthetics can reproduce, women would, because women know what they mean to men, and men know what women mean to them.
Yeah.
So in a world where women are no longer, or natural born women are no longer relevant, how would the world look if men don't need them to get their sexual and reproduction fix? Well, the family court and divorce court, they're done. The romance industrial complex, as I like to call it, lingerie, probably restaurants, jewelry, all that shit goes belly up. Maybe even luxury cars, that industry goes belly up. Anything that you could think of that men use to impress women or to increase their chances of reproduction, that's going to fail, because you don't have to impress an AI to sleep with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe those industries get replaced with tech. Maybe they get replaced. I don't know. I'm interested to know what that world looks like.
I think the world would be a ton better, because I think men would be more focused. You know, I know.
Oh yeah, of course.
I see a lot of guys they're not focused. They make a lot of mistakes because they're going out just trying to chase women all the time. But if they were focused, I think, like, what could you accomplish? When I stopped chasing women and started traveling, and like I would pick a hobby and I would do it, man, I felt so much better. I was more focused, and I felt like I was getting a lot more out of life.
Right.
So I think if we have those scents, man, that would be a game changer. But what would that do to male disposability, though?
Male disposability will be eliminated. Well, unless I mean, wars are going to happen, so male disposability it won't be completely eliminated. But what happens to the women? Like, women are forced to have to go to war with men if they're like out in the cold, and men are not white knighting for them anymore. Like, what do we do with them? I don't advocate for violence, but those women, like, they have to do something, right? Because they can't do it by themselves. Men have to prop them up. So what are they going to do if they lose their place in society? And what will men do in retaliation?
That's a great question too, man.
I think that there's going to be a law or a series of laws that's going to ban sex bots. Maybe not in their current iteration, but certainly when they get to the sophistication of a synthetic, where you can't tell the difference, because they'll dress it up as some sort of law, some sort of rape protection or some shit like that. Maybe it's a fine, maybe you go to jail. But again, what is jail or $100 or $1,000 fine versus, paying $250,000 in child support over 20 years? It's not even is an easy choice.
Yeah, especially if you're dealing with someone who doesn't have your best interest at heart.
Exactly.
Which,
Yeah, I think I'm very interested in that world. I do think men, especially nightclubs would be one of the first things to go.
Yeah.
I just think about like the Einsteins, the Teslas, the Sir Isaac Newtons. Like, these are giants, and they did not think too highly of women. Even Einstein, that had a wife and kids, he basically gave his wife all of his Nobel Prize money to fuck off, because she was nagging the shit out of him. And yeah, when men are not distracted with pussy, man, I always make this joke, like, when men bicker over stuff, I was like, this is why we don't have time machines, because men are bickering over, who's trying to win over women. Who's more alpha? Who has the better Jordans? Who gives a shit? Let's make this time machine. Let's get the cure for cancer or AIDS or something.
Exactly. I think we may have single-handedly figured out the answer. Sex bots.
Well, it works in abstract. The problem is the other 99% of men going along with it.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. Like, when I talk to some men about sex bots, they're just like, no, how? Because they want this ego rush of this woman who wants them for them. And they don't really. A lot of guys, it seems like, they don't really understand the games that women play.
That goes away when you get older. Because when I was 23 years old, oh yeah, I love the chase, as they call it. I love that
Oh
shit.
yeah.
But you know, after around, I want to say 27, I'm like, yeah, I'm too old for this shit. I'm done.
Well, the chase, I never really enjoyed the chase so much as this idea that if you are just the right man, completely submit to you, which is not true at all.
Right.
And learning that was just like, it's like a punch to the gut. You know?
Yeah. Juan says they're not going to be illegal everywhere, maybe in the West, but you'll be able to go to Mexico and get one. You know, that's a great point, because countries that are trying to come up, like third world countries, they may not be banned in those countries. You can go there.
That's true. I would love it, man. If I had to do it all over again, I would just go straight into robotics, and I'd be one of the pioneers. I'd be one of the pioneers of those bots. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, if just men are not when men are not distracted, some men they destroy themselves, but a lot of men they have a vision of their own that just get sidetracked because pussy or kids.
You know what's funny, and how this also works against men. I was reading an article, and they were talking about, I don't know if it was in the tech field, but I think it was just in the business field or something or the other. And it said that employers are starting to notice that women, than men, and they said that in the boardroom, they don't have to deal with as much ego, deal with, it was just all this stuff. They said basically men, they're old school and women are the new school. And if you want your company to run properly, hire more women. Basically, that's what it was. And I was just like, wow. Because in corporate America, I see it all the time. A lot of men fight other men basically to gain the attention of other female employees.
Yep. I don't know. I think I don't know. That's interesting. My observation, I've always heard women say that they would rather hang around men than other women because women are too ... too petty, too catty, too bitchy, too jealous, too envious, whatever.
That's
I don't know if a female dominated work area would work out.
Well, that's true. Like I said before, a guy in a manager position, and then a guy above him, VP and all that stuff, and he's just blinded by just being beautiful women. He's gonna make up any excuse he can to hire him. That's what it seemed like to me.
Maybe, but then again, #MeToo changes everything. Cause like, okay, if you're that manager, I'm like, all right, if I sleep with one of these women and she can just make up anything and I'm out of a job 10 years, 20 years down the road, I'm fucked. So maybe men will pull back from that. But again, we're talking about the line. I don't know if that's the line. Because when it comes to women, men have a history of not giving a fuck about a line.
That's true.
So I don't know. Common sense says that's a very good incentive to not even talk to women outside of hello, how are you, and goodbye. That's also incentive to not even hire women. Like, you're exposing your entire company to liability because of #MeToo.
Absolutely. So back to the sex bot. So if you have, all right, so let's say, oh no, this is a question I want to ask. How would you market sex bots to where men will say after a while and just get a sex bot and not really deal with? I think it would be a hard sell up front.
Well, you've already sold it. I mean,
right.
You don't really unless you're selling it to teenagers, men that's been around, they already know it. They already know what the game is with women. Just say that you don't have to worry about, unwanted pregnancies or You don't have to worry about hashtag Me Too. You don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about yes means yes.
You put that on the box.
I would. I would put on my box. No unwanted kids. Big bold letters with outline, and no STDs, no child support, no cops. You don't have to work hard to sell it to men that's been in a relationship because they already know what it is. Women most women, not all, of course, hashtag not all, but most women are that awful. Yeah. You don't have to do much. Your problem is going to be selling it to teenagers as wet behind the ears, but it doesn't really matter because most of the men are outside of their age anyways. Yeah. So you don't have to work hard. Not to sell it to men, no. You mean to tell me I can get my own personalized Halle Berry from a 1992 version of Halle Berry, and I don't have to worry about any of the risk? That's what you're telling me now, and I only have to pay $10,000. Sold. Take my money. Shut up and take my money. That's easy.
Do you think women will be selling their likeness? Because I can see, like, I can just imagine the Jessica Alba doll. Like, I mean, man.
Oh my God. You kidding me? 2002 Jessica Alba, Dark Angel Jessica Alba? Forget about it.
Included?
Outfit included. That's it. The product sells itself. $50,000? Shut up and take my money. Because that's still cheaper than a marriage and a divorce and dates and engagement rings. Is still cheaper than that. $50K. Here you go. Easy,
man.
I could have Jessica Alba, and if I'm done with that Jessica Alba, maybe there's a warranty program where I can do like a free upgrade. Like within 5 years or something like that. And you can switch off on the model.
So I don't mean to interrupt you, but just pay a little extra a month, and bam, you can just get a new model whenever you want.
Exactly.
Exactly. How much money that would make? Oh.
Exactly. Like a subscription service? Oh my God. Imagine putting loot boxes into that. Like, you have like a digital system and you have to pay money to open loot boxes. Maybe you get the outfit you want, maybe you don't. Oh my God. If EA could make $500 million off of Grand Theft Auto Online, imagine how much men are willing to pay for that system.
Oh my goodness.
Holy cow.
Oh my goodness. See, EA, someone's probably...
We should actually trademark. You know what? We should actually trademark that idea because that is a highly profitable idea, and I guarantee you it will be implemented in the future.
Oh man! EA bots.
I would pay for it. Exactly. I would pay for that.
I would pay for it too. Man, I would get so much work done.
Exactly.
Experience Optimist. I'm glad you're home. Hey, Jessica, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah.
Could you imagine walking around with your 1992 Halle Berry and you're in Hollywood and you actually see like the old Halle Berry, how she would feel? Man.
See, some people are going to be like, oh, man, these losers, they're probably in a basement or whatever, man.
You're talking about an incentive, and you're talking about an incentive, not to cut you off, but you're talking about an incentive for men to make more money. If that's their incentive, oh, my God.
Oh, man, they would be
They would do all kinds of stuff. Even if you want to pump up who's hot in Hollywood right now, that chick, Alex from whoever's Jennifer Lawrence, right? Let's say Jennifer Lawrence model is $100K flat out.
Uh-huh.
And if you're 16 years old and you're like, okay, it's gonna cost me $100K to get that Jessica Lawrence model. What can I do to get that model? Selling drugs on the street is not gonna get you there.
Yo, it's not. So you're cleaning up crime already.
Yes.
Society's headed in the right direction already.
Men are still striving for their vision for a family without the risks. Of course, women get left out in the cold, and we have to deal with that problem sometime down the road.
Well,
But
we'll think about that.
go ahead.
No, I'll just mess around. I said we'll think about that later. But anyway, no, yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, men, you have all kinds of men trying to get into college or trying to start their own businesses. If you set that bar that high, oh my God. How about for 100K, you get 3 models. You get like
Oh man,
a Sanaa Lathan, 1992 Holly Berry, and you get like a 1978 Claire Huxtable, right? And you get all of those for 100K. You get a free 10-year warranty. You get to swap out anytime you want within the first 5 years for $100,000. That is a great deal.
Oh,
a great
man. You sound like a salesman too.
I'm just anticipating how it's gonna go. If I'm selling it to men, like, and I put no divorce, no unwanted kids, no STDs, no judges, no yelling, no nagging, no none of that. It sells itself.
Another good selling feature, and I was thinking about this too. So let's say you have your doll or whatever, just gobble, right? Now you're at home, you're working on your engineering specifications, and then bam, of course she's connected to the net, she's connected to the web. She could be your helpmate. She could be like, you know what, man, I'm stuck here, I'm trying to figure this out. Jessica, calculate, blah, 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 blah. She can calculate it and come up with an answer for you.
Yep.
I mean, to have a person that's there that always wants to help you out, man, just think about that.
You talking about enriching the single player experience? It really can't get better than that. Like an advanced bot that can help you solve problems. Forget about it. I mean, if you're telling me, if let's say if you want to charge me $100,000 just for the Jessica model model, and I have to do loot boxes for the outfits, but she comes with an advanced AI, she could do quantum physics, she could do all branches of mathematics, she could do computer programming, she could do electrical engineering, and I have access to all of that, and I can work her around the clock. Take my money. Here. I would go to college for 4 years to get access to that. Easy. 100K? That's a deal. Thank you. Here come the women. These men, they're sexually objectifying women. And this, of course, assumes that, sex bots don't get banned. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But, again, the angry millions of women, they have to do something, right? They have to stay relevant by doing something. And men have to address that at some point. Women are just not going to go quietly into the night. That's not going to happen. But yeah, that's a much, much more enriching, much more efficient economy. Male disposability is virtually eliminated because wars still have to be fought. Cops, there still have to be some sort of law enforcement in place. So male disposability is not completely nullified, but it is reduced dramatically. The whole traditional idea, you can bring that back with a bot. You don't have to worry about any of the risks, at least the traditional risks, what we have today. Now, of course, with software and robotics, of course, when you introduce a new variable, you have different risks. But it's for $100,000 for basically, for all of that, it's a no-brainer for me. I'll work at 2 McDonald's to save my money for 10 years to get that, honestly.
And then
if it came down to that.
Not only will she be able to calculate stuff, let's say you need to make you need to change something in your house, you need to paint, you need to do sheetrock, you need to do a house or remodel your roof or whatever. She could be right up there helping you out.
Yep. What if she could build a house all by herself? What if she could fix your car? Oof.
Oh man.
What if she's capable of doing research on her own? Like The real world applications for that is infinite. So if you're charging me $100,000 for infinite applications, easy. Because honestly, with that kind of a robot that can do that, work around the clock and not get sick, not get attitude, not go on strikes and all that. Honestly, that kind of model would probably be worth $1 million. But you're giving that to me at a 10% discount? Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So,
man, you just can't beat it.
You cannot. You cannot. Not unless no, that's way down the road. Like you can make digital and make an interface with the real world, but that's really just highly theoretical. But sex bots, that's actual tangible in the next 10, 20, maybe 25 years. Mm-hmm. I hope I'm alive to see that economy, because that is just that's insane.
I would love to see that. More focused men going after what would really benefit society rather than just chasing women all around the world. I think that, man, I would love it.
Right. Because if men, because men have to ask themselves, what am I? Who am I if I don't have to chase women? Like, I could play video games all day. I don't have to worry about someone nagging me. Matter of fact, with that $100,000 model, she can go to work for me. I could be a pimp. I could pimp my own sex bot. She could work for me for my $100,000, $200,000 job.
That's true, but I don't think a lot of guys wouldn't do that though.
Shit,
a lot of guys still. They say some guys would, but there's still guys with that ego. I mean, which is good.
That shit will die. I'm telling you that all that ego shit will die in one generation. You introduce a technology like that, all that ego shit is gone. It's gone. You could work for me and I could do something else. It's basically working 2 jobs at once and getting paid twice to do 1 job. Easy. Yeah. All that ego, I'm gonna let that go because of ego. I'm not gonna spend $100,000 on an obvious better option, a more beautiful option that won't get old, that won't nag me, won't go through menopause and all that other stuff. I'm gonna forego all of that because ego. Like, you have to be like, even if you're a macho guy with an ego with the size of the Statue of Liberty, that shit will die. when you look around and you look at your peers, you'll find yourself to be the only one out of your social circle that doesn't have one, because you're in your feelings about your ego. That shit will die. I promise you.
But I would have to do something though. I don't think I would feel right.
Well, she can go to work and I can do research. Or she can do research and I can go to work.
That's true.
Either way, you're doing 2 things at one time. Yeah. That's certainly worth $100,000 a year, let alone $100,000 forever.
Oh man! Plus the monthly payments, get the upgrade every.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Man,
yep.
We have figured it out, gentlemen. We have figured it out.
Yep. But again,
anyway, on that
one large variable is the women. Like, the women are scary in that world because they're plotting something.
Do you actually think that the women? Well, because I know they're not going to be like, okay, well, we'll give. This is what I think women would do. I think women will they'll say, well, I'll act better than the robot. They'll try to do something like that.
Men won't be that stupid.
I mean, women will probably try that first, but it won't work.
No, because men could get their sexual and reproduction needs without having to deal with women. So women just can't say, I'll be nicer than a robot when you don't have, when all she can, the best that she can offer is that you can trust me. And with the robot, you don't ever have to question the trust of a robot. Ever. True. Like, you're taking an unnecessary risk for no reason at all. That's just not intelligent. And you don't have to be a mathematician to know that. It's like, why would I choose you? Like, I have to take your word and I have to trust you. I don't ever have to worry about trusting a robot, unless we're talking about, evil AI, and that's a whole different conversation. But it's just, you can't, any woman cannot compete with a synthetic. If you can model a synthetic after any woman. Women just simply cannot compete.
Yeah.
They'll know that. They'll get that. They know that now. They know that now. And sex bots are in the infancy, and women know it now. They know. Women, like I said, women know exactly what they mean to men. They know. So they won't do it they won't sell honey. They'll be selling vinegar. They'll be protesting up to Capitol Hill. Let's get this technology banned because it encourages rape. It'll probably work because women are the majority of voters. It's just like how we saw the future. Women can see the exact same thing. It's not hard. It's like, oh shit, the future is without us. Let's stop this now. You see it now where some women's groups are trying to give sex robots like human rights.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But they know what's coming. It's the calm before the storm. They know what's coming. So yeah, they won't be selling honey. They'll be selling vinegar. Maybe if they can't get it banned for whatever reason, I do see the technology getting banned in first world countries, because people in power want to stay in power and they need the voters to do that. And women are the majority of voters. So if that doesn't work, maybe there'll be a huge Luddite movement to go around and explicitly destroy this technology, maybe destroy the companies and their buildings and the manufacturing plants. It's a war is coming. A war is coming.
I can see that. And then there's a lot of men who, I want to know what to do with the men. There's a lot of men who are like, sex robot, oh, that's terrible. And those guys, I'm like, man, okay. So you would rather deal with the idea that you can go to jail at any moment, that you have to deal with the negative attitudes? Because one of the guys, he was a pump and dump guy, right? He was saying that it's dumb for guys, sex robots. I was like, but what are you doing? You're just sleeping with woman after woman after woman after woman. I don't understand. I don't see the difference there.
I don't, because that when they make that argument, they're just speaking from their ego, and I don't worry about that, because the technology, the thing I love about science and technology, it doesn't give a flying fuck about anybody's ego, because once you introduce the technology, your ego means shit. So yes, there will be those guys, as they are today, where they're like, yeah, there's risks, because the risks are undeniable. But at least I'm getting the real thing. Men still, today in 2017, they still have that going for them. But like I said, once that technology gets that advanced of synthetics, all that it's only a matter of time before that shit is done. Because a man that looks, you have to look at your mirror. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and like, is my ego worth me being in a worse position? A man has to ask himself that question. So that's why I don't worry about those arguments. It's just they can make those arguments while the technology is in its infancy, kind of like the leading computational scientists of the early 80s said, a computer will never be able to play quote unquote real music. You can play real music, quote unquote, on a smartwatch today. So the technology just has to mature, and it will mature. Even if it's not the United States, it'll be another country like Japan with the herbivore men, or China that has a shortage of women, or South Korea, or whatever. Because the electrical engineering is available to everybody. It's not locked out of any country. All it takes is for one country to invent the technology, advance to where men can make that option. And it's over. You can't close Pandora's box once it's been opened.
True.
So,
beautiful. Well, on that note, I'm gonna have to bring this Google Hangout to a close. But man,
I mean, we've been talking 2 hours almost
for a long time, and man, covered some good topics.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to. The next one we can talk about what women are gonna do. what role will they play in the future? But
but yeah, we actually came up with a business plan on the fly.
Oh.
The whole business plan.
subscription model,
Yeah.
the loot boxes.
Yep.
MGTOW Universe, you are the man, my friend.
I appreciate that, man.
Everyone should go out and check out your channel. You have some good videos on poker as well. I really like that. And yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I'll talk to you later, sir.
All right. Peace.